Who's Who on the Battlefield. The quiet, unassuming boy who would grow up to be the U.S.'s greatest strategist was simply born Omar Nelson Bradley on February 12, 1893, in rural Missouri. He was his parents' first and only surviving child. Growing up, his father, John Bradley, walked him to school because his father was the local teacher. Sadly, Omar's happy childhood came to an end when he was 14. That year, his father died of pneumonia, forcing his mother, Sarah, to move to the nearby town of Moberly. While Omar went to high school and met his future wife, Mary Quayle, Sarah rented rooms to boarders and took work as a seamstress. After graduating as part of the class of 1910, Omar began working and saving for a degree at the University of Missouri. It was a year later, in early 1911, that Omar's Sunday school superintendent, John Cruson, suggested that he take the entrance exam at West Point. Omar was initially skeptical, not being very strong in algebra, but he did take the exam using up all of the allotted time given to take the test, but not answering every question. He went home thinking he had failed. On July 27, 1911, he received a telegram saying otherwise. He had placed first in the exam and had to report to the military academy on August 1st. Bradley was a part of the graduating class of 1915, the class the stars fell upon, and was a classmate of future Allied leader Dwight Eisenhower. The two men played sports while at West Point. Bradley excelled in both baseball and football. In 1916, he married his high school sweetheart, Mary. During the First World War, he protected vital copper mines in Montana, was promoted to a major, and worked as a secretary for the Army General Staff. He and Mary's only child, Elizabeth, was born in 1923. Bradley attended Army advanced training at Fort Bennings, Georgia, and Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, then began training American troops. In 1940, George C. Marshall was tasked with expanding the American Army for the coming war with Hitler. He sent Bradley back to Fort Bennings, now a brigadier general, to open an infantry school in February 1941. It became the template for Army training camps across the country. Eisenhower called upon Bradley to represent him in the North African campaign, and it was after the disastrous Allied defeat at the Kasserine Pass that Ike asked Brad, as he was known to his men, to revamp the American military strategy. He was next given the command of 2nd Corps, and the Allies followed his strategy, leading to a victory in Africa. Bradley and his men next served in the successful Sicilian campaign, arriving on July 10, 1943. He took command of the American First Army and was sent to Great Britain in October 1943 to plan the D-Day landings. It was his decision to use the 101st and 82nd Airborne units to protect the soldiers landing on the beaches of Normandy. He was given a field command on D-Day, still leading the First Army. They struck their first blow at Saint-Lô, France on July 26, 1944, and were the first Americans to invade Germany. Splitting his command into two armies, he called in Patton and his Third Army to help push through Europe. Bradley thus gained command of the American 1st, 3rd, 9th, and 15th Armies, his last command of World War II. Going stateside, President Truman made him head of the Veteran Affairs. He also served as the first chairman of the Military Committee of NATO. In 1948, he was promoted to Army Chief of Staff. On September 18, 1949, he became General of the Army, and on September 22, 1953, Omar Bradley became the fourth five-star general in American history. He resigned his command in 1953, age 60. He worked closely on the movie biopic Patton. He was also the chairman of Bulva Watch Company for the 15 years following his military retirement. After his wife Mary succumbed to leukemia in 1965, he wed Esther Bueller in September 1966. Bradley spent his final years writing his biography, A Soldier's Story, which was published after his death. Caused by heart failure, it came on June 8, 1981. He was buried with honors in Arlington Cemetery. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my other military videos here. Thanks so much for watching!